Hey, good morning, everybody. We have an amazing show today. We have in studio with us, we have County Administrator Joy Andrews. I think last time I forgot your actual title, so I got it right this time, so I'm happy about that. But we have an amazing show today, and we're here in the Bozard Ford studio, and it's Monday. It's a beautiful Monday, but we got to go over a couple little things. We have one story, amazing story about some housing, and then we're going to jump right into that interview. But first off, and always, we got to talk about Bozard Ford. Since 1949, Bozard Ford has been more than just a dealership. It's a local legacy built on trust, family values, and a commitment to doing things the right way. Proudly serving St. Augustine and beyond for over 75 years, Bozard offers award-winning services, unbeatable selection, and state-of-the-art facility with 91 climate control service bays, a quick lane, and no appointment needed maintenance. Well, that's harder to say than I thought. And they even have Ford's Garage restaurant while you wait. All right. Recognized with the Triple Crown Award and a President's Award, Bozard Ford Lincoln is a hometown service, meets national excellence, great pricing, friendly faces, and better buying experience. Located right there off I-95 and State Road 16, Bozard Ford Lincoln. They are driven to inspire. All right. We also have big shout outs to our other sponsors, Fidus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Bin 39 Wine Bar, B&S Signs, Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, St. Augie's Pizza, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, and St. Augustine Handy House. We appreciate all the support you can give to those amazing sponsors. And also, if you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, and download the app today in the Apple App Store. Whew. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, the county administrator got caught by the train, and you're allowed to bring that seat up a little bit because a tall person was evidently there.
Okay.
Okay. Blake, are you back there pushing all the buttons? Still live?
Yeah. Yes, I am trying my best. And
Where's the microphone?
Right here.
Oh, okay. We can't hear you in here.
Speaker's not on. Come on.
All right. Well, we are scrambling today in a lot of different ways, and you are not going to believe what the question of the day is. I shift this way? Okay, we both have to shift to our right. We're getting instructions. All right. Our question of the day, believe it or not, I'd already written it down, is, it always happens. All right. What is the most hectic part of your morning?
Oh, traffic. When I say there was a train, I couldn't even be sure because I couldn't see the end of it. But I was on IGP, of course, getting on US 1. So when the line is so long, you assume it's a train or just people just get on their phone and couldn't turn or something.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, and you have little ones too. And this morning, the 5-year-old, is going to school. The rest of us are trying to get to work. And, headband was the hectic. There's always something.
There's always something.
We couldn't find the headband this morning.
Oh, no.
The waffles were too dry. Everything that was possibly could hit us at once.
Yeah, it always happens.
And we have 5 people with 1 bathroom.
Uh-huh.
So
there's a line.
Yeah. Blake, you're being way too over technical on us right now, buddy. It's all right. We're gonna be just fine. Blake is
Thank you. You're working so hard.
Our director, producer, director is just working so hard. So Blake, did you hear the question of the day? Because evidently for you, it's getting the cameras at the right angle. What is?
Yeah, it's just making sure that everything works on the show this morning because fortunately we have a lot of people that we need to support and all that. So get the information out to all these fine people here in the St. Johns County.
And we have a great guest in. So I understand the stress level's a little higher back there for the producer.
He knows my good angle.
Yeah, he's getting your best side.
Yes,
and you have so many.
So hard.
You have so many good sides.
You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. It's time for a quick check of the weather. It's actually going to be a very nice day. It started off beautiful this morning. It was like 65 or 66 degrees at the house when I left the house. And it should be a beautiful day. Might see a couple little clouds creep in, but for the most part, we got like 10% chance of rain. All right. And that weather is brought to us by Ben 39. Discover one of St. Augustine's best kept secrets. Ben 39, tucked inside the St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street, with over 95 boutique wines, 50 of them rated 90 points or higher by Robert Parker. It's a perfect spot for a romantic date night or relaxing after work unwind. Sit by the glass or bottle in the serene courtyard setting and enjoy live music Thursday through Sunday, open daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop by and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Ben 39, your taste to discover. All right, let's hit the Blakes. Traffic report. What you got out there, Blake?
All right, traffic's moving well.
All right, so you're not showing where the county administrator has left her place and trying to get here, because there's always something. But it's moving along pretty good.
Looks great.
Yeah, it's moving all right. Looks it looks like, so we have 331, Mile Marker 326, 324, and 318 on screen today.
I-95 is moving. So Blake, who brought us that?
All right, that traffic report is brought to you by Old Town Trolley. Climb aboard Old Town Trolley and experience over 500 years of history in the heart of St. Augustine. This fully narrative 90-minute tour features 22 convenient stops and covers more than 100 points of interest, including iconic landmarks like the Castillo de San Marco, the Fountain of Youth, and Flagler's Historic Hotel. With open-air views and all-day hop-on, hop-off access, it is the most fun and flexible way to explore the nation's oldest city. Your ticket also includes free admission to the St. Augustine History Museum and locals. St. Johns County residents ride free with full fare guests through the Hometown Pass program at hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time.
All right. We do have the county administrator in here, but I do want to do this one story because I am just happy that this is taking place and it's in a perfect location, and we're real excited about it. A nonprofit purchases 32-acre property in St. Johns County to develop the largest affordable housing community in 33 years. Now, a lot of times we talk about affordable housing and stuff like that, but this is the group that does it right. A major step forward in the effort to bring affordable housing to St. Johns County, Habitat for Humanity of St. Augustine and St. Johns County has purchased a 32-acre property off Duval Street, right next to the Solomon Calhoun Community Center. Leaders say it will become the nonprofit's largest affordable housing community in their 33-year history. Executive Director Melinda Everson says Habitat is one of the only builders in the county still delivering homes under $300,000. Half of the property will be set aside for 74 affordable single-family homes, while the other half will remain preserved wetlands, ponds, and wildlife refuge. The potential for a community park. Families who move in will have walkable accessibility to the ballpark, swimming pool, fitness classes, and other amenities from the nearby community center, the Solomon Calhoun Center. Everson says the need is overwhelming, with more families in St. Johns County facing homelessness, living in cars, and couch surfing just to get by. It is so true, and we're so happy you're doing this. One new owner described finding Habitat's program as a lifeline, saying rent had gotten so high her family was on the brink of losing their home. The yet-to-be-named community will offer 2, 3, and 4-bedroom homes in different designs built for families earning between 3 and 120% of the area's median income. Habitat guarantees housing costs won't exceed 30% of the family's income, giving someone who calls during the show, giving stability and affordability. The site plan is being finalized now, with construction expected to begin in 2027. This one's one that we really need. We always hear about affordable housing, and then it's $380,000. And, you know, it's something that we face. And I felt like this story was a good lead in for our county administrator being here, because we do face such a crisis in this situation What do you know anything about this project? Or
Yes, Melinda is just amazing. She has really worked with us throughout multiple projects, and this is the most exciting one. So we're on standby, making sure that we are providing whatever help that she needs to get this through. We need this. The West Augustine community absolutely needs that project.
yeah, I'm excited about it, and because I feel they do affordable housing right. Because a lot of times, uh, the county struggles with being able to manage it, and I defend our county administrators and your staff a lot of times because the property owners have so many rights. um, the best you guys can do is get the best for the residents. A lot of times, you at staff and administration and the county commissioners get beat up about development. But I don't think the average resident understands how much rights the property owner actually has. So it's kind of your job is not to stop development; it's to manage it the best way possible. And I feel like you guys have really tried to step that up in the last 3 or 4 years. Um, um, can you talk about some of those struggles? Like, you know, you have like you had a development that you guys tried to slow down, and then it went to the courts, and now it's coming back again. Can you talk about how to manage that balance? Because to me, that's one of the toughest parts of your job and the county commission's job.
Sure. Well, that's fairly loaded question in terms of the struggle of managing growth. And I can probably touch specifically about affordable housing and then the type of challenges that we have to go through to encourage affordable housing, but not forcing it.
Hmm.
And so there is that challenge. And of course, overall growth management, managing part of it is that you have to strike a balance of protecting property rights. And, as Florida, we are a property rights state, so we have the highest regard to protect those rights. So the Board of County Commissioners, they work very hard, five of them, trying to come up with a balanced policies where they're encouraging affordable housing or really any type of development or discouraging them without really trepidating on people's rights that is inherent for them and it's protected by our country's constitution. Um, but I do think that the board over the years have come up with policies arguably worked to its best. And that includes density bonus and potentially, we're now in a conversation talking about impact fee. And this is something our residents don't always realize. We want our developer to build roads, to build fire stations, to build parks. But what that require is for developer to at the highest level pay to mitigate their impact on our roads and on our public services, which will add on to your impact fee. And so when the board considers a highest level impact fee, which they have for the past few years, outside of encouraging commercial development, it also adds the cost to the homes, which actually at the end, it passes down to our homeowners. And then so you're looking at a high land value and high housing value, high impact fee contributes to that. And that is actually a decision our community has to make. Do we want to have a high threshold for our incoming residents to be able to afford to live in this community? We just went through a comprehensive plan, and we just transmitted to the state. We're waiting for the state to tell us whether or not our proposed plan is meeting their requirement. Part of the plan, as state requires you to do, is to account for the growth, to account for the population that for sure is coming. And then we have a very robust expectation of our population growth. So how do we accomplish making sure that we're accommodating for the people who are accounted for to come here without burdening our existing residents? So really at the end, we have transmitted a very balanced, comprehensive plan, which really accounts for our residents and workers who are in St. Johns County already for the next 7 years. And that doesn't mean that we can stop growth. You know, you have a lot of entitlements already on the book. You will see houses coming up without even any policy decisions to be made by our Board of County Commissioners. We will have to figure out a way to pay for those roads to make sure that those residents will be connected to our main corridor to get to where they need to be, to work, to take their kids to school. But the 7 years of a focus on providing what public service is, it looks like for the residents who move here for who are already here, and for the people who work here but don't necessarily have a home to live in, is our focus for the next 7 years.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, you can tell you're an A student because I threw a very hard question at you and you knocked it out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
So I
appreciate you very gently stop me because I can keep going, take off your entire show.
Well, I'm used to the sheriff being here, so you're
good.
Compared to talking.
I'm the less chatty one.
You're the less chatty.
Okay.
But you both have amazing information you got to get out. During that, you were talking about the impact fees, residential impact fees, and I just want to talk on this briefly because the big thing is budget right now. You guys are in that, in the final stages of that. So I want to really save some time for that. But impact fees, and I've said on this show many times, I want to try and get that residents to commercial balance back in play. I'm a proponent of residential impact fees because I think we have a strong inventory right now, and those are new builds for residents. The other ones have already been paid for. Right. And you're 100% correct. That gets passed along to the resident. But on commercial impact fees, are we doing anything to push those up? Because I would like those to stay flat or go down, even if the residential goes in the other direction. Because with me, that balance, and I'm not sure what the number is. At one point, it was like 13% commercial to 87%, and I don't know where it is residential. I don't know what that balance is now, but for us to be sustainable for the long term and not just be a neighborhood community, right? Which gobbles up, a neighborhood community gobbles up all the resources. So what steps can we do to kind of push? I know we're not going to go to the 30% where we're supposed to be, but what's a realistic goal? Can we get to 20 on the commercial side with that balance, and how can we manage that better?
So I think that when it comes to changing or improving the ratio between residential and commercial, the policy decision, the public policy has some influence, but it's very limited. Mm-hmm. It's largely it's a free market. It's largely how much rooftop you have in the county. And I can tell you, Troy, that we are on the right trajectory in terms of improving the ratio, lowering the residential, and increasing the commercial. Mm-hmm. So the last month, we just had a data. Our residential slowly, really is gradually slowing down. Now it is still growing. We have probably close to 200 single-family permits for one month, which compared to other parts of the country or other parts of the state per capita, we're still leading. Mm-hmm. But it is certainly a lot lower, probably 1/3 of our peak single-family permits. Our residential, while it's slowing down, our commercial has not. Mm-hmm. So we are actually going on the right path to improve that ratio. And I would say commercial improvement, one can argue that, St. Johns County, since recession, has implemented a commercial non-residential impact fee buy-down program, which the intent was to improve our ratio of commercial to residential, encourage non-residential development to come to St. Johns County. And so that essentially is a 60% buy down. Our Board of County Commissioners now, like you said, is in the process of adopting a new impact fee schedule. And part of that discussion is going to be whether or not do we still need that buy down program. Mm-hmm. My recommendation in 2024 budget and 2025 budget is to remove that buy down program completely. The study has shown that whether or not you have that 60% commercial buy down for impact fee is negligible in terms of whether or not they're coming. We're mm-hmm. getting Ascension, we're getting Advent Health, we're getting all these commercial development, Walmart, Wawa, all these commercial development, not necessarily because we're providing an impact fee buy down, I think it's because now we have the residential basis to support that kind of business to make profit.
So, well, I mean, it's got to be attractive with our school systems, our beautiful park systems. Just the quality of life that we have here. I mean, it has to be appealing. I think any tiebreaker on some of these, manufacturers, some of these big businesses, and uh, helps in so many ways. And if I think businesses want to know their local government's willing to work with the businesses and say, hey, we want you here.
Right.
It's a lot of the factor is we want you here.
Yeah.
And instead of, oh, if you come, you come. But, I think that's something you guys have done a very good job. Talk about a little bit on the economic, the program that you have. And you've had a new director. I guess it's been about a year now. She's been in place, and what's changed in that time frame, because I feel that there has been a little bit of a wave moving in the right direction there.
So I would say, in terms of our economic development incentive program, and which is really based on a ordinance, it is actually very flexible. So St. Johns County has a very robust incentive program that is really based on property taxes rebate, so that our residents, because economic development is really funded by general fund, so we are very cognizant of not spending our taxpayers' dollars to recruit businesses, but we have to make some investment, and the best investment is other people's money.
Yeah.
So what we primarily do in economic development incentive program is to calculate their property taxes contribution to St. Johns County, and then we would negotiate with them on how many years of property taxes we can potentially rebate back to them. And so that you don't get the money unless you actually generate the funds to St. Johns County. And other things that we do, impact fee waivers. When we talk about waiver, it's more of a buy down, or we do utility connection discount, permit fee discount, expedited permitting process. I think we have seen fairly exciting and encouraging movement in the past few years. The Publix pharmaceutical manufacturing, that was a huge deal. And of course, KeHE, who stays here and now with their headquarters is basically rooted here, providing wealth building opportunities for our residents and high wage jobs.
Those are great jobs.
Those are important. And so I think in terms of the incentive program, whether or not the board decides to remove the waiver program, which means that now everybody's paying 100% of the impact fee. And I will say since 2018, the Board of County Commissioners have adopted impact fee at its allowable legal maximum level outside of the 60% discount for the commercial. And every year we index them. But we do have the program that has the flexibility of if there is a project that is really meaningful for our residents, that will bring jobs, that is high enough quality for our residents, then there is really, the board has a lot of latitude on how we can incentivize them. And it really, I think, just based on my experience with the businesses, you really want to know what actually matters to them. Sometimes you have a business come in and say, hey, I like to have a free membership for YMCA for all of our employees. And that really just requires a facilitation of the YMCA and the business owner
to see.
So it's a conversation. So be cognizant of providing what they really need is the key.
Yeah, and I think that flexibility is very important. All right, the main reason I wanted you to come in this month is because of the budget, and you guys have been working on this budget for 5 or 6 months now. You're kind of in the you're at the finish line. You've made that turn. You see the finish line right there. Still a lot of changes still happening. I know what happens at this time, and you got to make sure your carry forwards are right and stuff like that. You having a budget background, like you came through the budget process. How much has that helped you as the county administrator going through this process? Because to me, it's the most challenging thing the county has to do, is because you're handling our money, like you said. You're handling our money, and you have to do it in a way that's very, I don't want to say cautious, but you have to be empathetic to everyone involved. how has this process changed so much from you being the budget analysis to where you're sitting right now in your 20 plus years of being with the county now?
Yeah. Well, I started as a budget analyst, and you were the Parks Recreation Director. So I remember my budget years. I
apologize for how mean I was to the
no,
budget
you were
office.
you were my project.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity for growth. No, I learned so much in the office for 4 years. I was there with Jesse Dunn and Wade Schroeder, now our budget director.
Mm-hmm.
I think that experience helps me to understand their process better. And also on the other side, helps me to understand departments' operational needs better. And I've worked with all the department directors throughout the years with St. Johns County, and also understanding the accountability on the budgetary side of it. I think that's a good balance to have. What I think have happened for me in the budget process in terms of change is that we have now have high level confidence in how we are processing our budget review process, basically. And so we want our community to be part of that process, and we realize the importance of our community's input in this process. And so we start our process very early, from February, and this is not really far from here. We start this review process internally every year in May, and this has been the third year that we have been doing televised the budgeting session process, where 20-some departments will come to me and talk about their new budget requests and what they need, what they're seeing as communities' needs increase, and where we should be investing funds to better meet those needs. Of course, there's a lot of competing needs, and you only have so much money. I probably wanted to insert this number here. I know people talk about we have been operating on a 1.9 billion budget, but really our discretional general fund is less than $500 million. So there is a lot of needs are arising because of the population increase. And in parks and fire, in all these areas are requiring very high investment in the general fund. So capital also now is our big big priorities. We have been really at it for two years now, taking our road infrastructure and parks and libraries and fire station to be our highest priority. Just for this budget year, we're investing $159 million more in our new CIP project. But you probably know this already. We still have probably over $500 million unfunded capital projects. Mm-hmm. So prioritization becomes a huge important thing for all of us as staff to do. So we just recently started this process called CIP visioning and CIP prioritization.
Yeah. And I want to explain in case people don't understand it, because
about the acronym.
You and I speak governmentese pretty well. Yeah. A CIP is a capital improvement project. It's a project that's going to last more than 5 years, and it goes into a system, and it's prioritized and it's ranked. And you guys have to take that, and you're saying you have about 159 million
this year.
That's still not that they might have qualified, but the money's just not there for it to be the highest of the priorities.
Yeah, so I just don't make sure that we have the number right for our listeners. So 159 million has been invested in this year's budget.
In this year's? This year's. Okay.
New, yeah. And over 500 million capital improvement projects are unfunded.
Okay.
And that is on the
I had
book.
that backwards, so I'm glad
yeah.
we cleared that up.
Yeah, we need more money.
Yeah, we always need more money.
Yeah, we always need more money, and how do we find that resource is important. So we have been very successful in state and federal lobbying. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have received hundreds of millions of dollars in the past few years to help us, but we have work to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned Wade, and you mentioned Jesse. So the three of you guys have been in the budget office, moving into different positions and where you're at. But I think that also shows the stability of where the county is, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, we've had changes. But the three of you guys have played such an integral role in the budget. To me is, coming from Parks and Rec guy, the budget for me is the most important component that you guys have. I think the three of you being such a stable force has put the county in a very strong position.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And well, you know, and I have confidence in the three of you guys too, and I know you all three personally, and I think that has really put the county in a position where when we hear these numbers, I have confidence in all three of you guys going, because I know you guys check each other and there's checks and balances between the three of you. How has that relationship made your job easier, or has it made it easier because you are so close to these the other two guys that you rely on so much?
Yeah. Well, we have always been very close. Three of us have, I mean, both Wade and Jesse were on my interview panel 20 years ago. So they hired me. So we have worked together very closely 20 years. But I think what the difference that relationship has made for St. Johns County and how we operate as a staff level is the heightened focus on fiscal accountability and responsibility. We are all nerds. We know exactly how to do pivot table. We know exactly how we're going to sort all these numbers and look at different models. So when there's nobody, just three of us, really we're like, can we pull out this sheet? Let's look at this number and what saving can we accomplish? And I think having those tools in your pocket and be confident that they are accurate and is a huge strength for us.
No, I think so too. All right, we have to pay a couple bills, and then we're going to come back to the interview. So, Blake, if you do not mind, sir, and if you're still conscious back there, can you please give us the Gas Buddy gas report today?
Yes, I will. Gas by Gas report. Let us know in the comments where you're seeing the best prices for gas today. We will greatly appreciate it because that'll be part of the comments report later. So we have Gate at Mizar Road is at 283. We also have the Mobile and Circle K at 287 on South Ponce de Leon Boulevard. We also have the A18 Discount Beverage is 289. The Owens at South Ponce is 289. The Shell at 146 King is 295. The Shell at 260 Ponce de Leon Boulevard is 298. The Gate at US 1 North is 299. Shell at North Ponce de Leon Boulevard is 299. The Sunoco at 2199 North Ponce is 299. That's the cash price, and no price reported for the Sunoco at South Ponce de Leon Boulevard.
All right.
All right. That Gas by Gas report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. Trouble the law. Called the name St. Augustine has trusted for years. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds available 24/7. Their experienced and compassionate team works fast to get you or your loved one out of jail and back home. From paperwork to release, they make the process simple, discreet, and stress-free. No judgment, just help when you need it the most. When the time matters, remember the name and the number. Crystal Sale Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245.
All right. Now I'll take care of the live music report brought to us by visitstaugustine.com. Today at the Milltop at 12 noon, you got Jim Lamb, you got Colin Costco at Ben 39 Wine Bar at 2 p.m. Ooh, that might be my stop. All right, Joshua Tennessee Worthy at Milltop at 4:30. Jeremy Price at St. Augustine Art Association at 5. Kevin Edwards at Hurricane Grill and Wings at 5. Southern Social String Band at Hurricane Wings at 5. Taylor Roberts at Prohibition Kitchen at 6 o'clock, and Stu Weaver at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill at 6 o'clock. All right, and that music is brought to us by Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home, trust Fidus Roofing and Construction. Voted St. Augustine's best every year since 2012. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, Fidus installs the GAF Lifetime Roofing System, an expert metal roofs built to withstand Florida's toughest weather. From emergency repairs to full replacements, plus pavers and gutters, Fidus delivers quality, durability, and energy savings with every job. For Fidus Roofing, give them a call, 904-355-ROOF. That's 904-355-7663, Fidus Roofing, where trust is built from the top down. All right. Okay, Blake, I'm not sure. We're not doing tapping into the trends. It threw me a curveball. I almost did the Ron Burgundy. I just almost kept reading there.
I know. Don't worry about it.
When they put on the teleprompter, it's going to come out a lot of times. But we are back to
I like that roofing logo, the slogan.
From the top
Trust
down.
from the top. That's amazing.
From the top down, because if you're not protecting here, everything else goes to, you know what. we are back with Joy Andrews, our county administrator, St. John's County Administrator. Appreciate you coming in. As always, so much information, and I have hundreds of questions, but you know, I'm trying to hit on the important ones that people want to hear. But this Thursday, you guys have an exciting is it the groundbreaking ceremony, or is it's just the celebration of the museum? What are we calling that celebration on Thursday?
I'll give you the official and then the unofficial,
Okay.
what we're calling it.
All right.
Officially, we're calling it a community celebration and check presentation for the State Black History Museum. And I know you have covered many times on the Black History Museum and then how the evolution of how we landed on the Black History Museum to be in St. Johns County, specifically in West Augustine area. In this session, or this past session, the state legislature passed appropriation for $1 million and $1 million, and that is for conceptual design for the State Black History Museum in St. Johns County. So the check is going to be presented to St. Johns County by Representative Michael, who was the sponsor in the House, and then Senator Leek, who will also be there, who was the sponsor, is local, and who's our delegation in the Senate. And so everyone who has been supportive and provided either letter of support or advocacy for St. Johns County to be the location of the State Black History Museum has been invited. So we are celebrating. Our unofficial mayor, Greg White, in West Augustine, has worked with the middle school, the choir, the American Legion. So we're going to see a lot of entertainment are provided by our local children and families and friends. So it will be an amazing event. Unofficially, I would say this event, why it is so important. We're still seeing some movement from Miami and from Edenville, Orlando, to fight for the location, even though we have gone through a very rigorous process to identify St. Johns County as ranked the #1 location. So this celebration is also unofficially marking the territory, so to speak. And we're hoping that
we're here and we are going to get it done.
That's
and
right.
That's kind of making that statement, like we're going to get this done.
So everybody who is listening, I would love for you guys to come out and celebrate with us.
Yeah. So we're going to try and end the show a little bit early, and then we're going to bust it over.
Awesome.
Bust it over there. Blake and I are going to try and make it over there. So if you see us out of breath, you know, we just came from the show, and we're you know, that's kind of the way you live your day.
That's right.
As you're going from place to place. And
we make it work.
Yeah, we figure it out, and we make it happen. All right. That is great. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about is your role as trying to keep. You're kind of the ringmaster, the conductor, and trying to keep all the different departments together. Approximately how many people actually work for St. Johns County right now?
We have a little shy of 1,600 people.
1,600 people. And I mean, most of your contact is with the directors and obviously your assistant county administrators and stuff like that. With those 1,600 people, all of them are looking at you at some point in when you make these decisions. How do you keep that balance of, because I mean, I was probably one of the stronger directors as far as fighting for every dollar I could get. And you guys, like, I think you wanted to lock the door sometimes to keep me out. But how do you keep that balance with the directors and prioritizing? Because there are priorities that come into place, because I don't think people realize all the unfunded things that come down from the state or the federal government. How do you explain to the Parks and Recreation director that fire rescue got theirs approved and yours didn't get approved? Because I know you want to approve everything, because everyone wants to be, make everybody happy. But how is that balance come to play for you?
So since you left, we have amazing directors, and that is very easy. I'm kidding.
They don't harass you. Okay.
No, we actually, I think the approach that we have together come and it worked really well as a dynamic is that we make decisions together. And so I think I had talked about this before. Since I started, we have an infrastructure delivery team, which is formed with almost 15 directors. And then we meet every other week and we talk about priority projects. We talk about how do we go about to accomplish certain projects. We also talk about maybe it's time to cut the tie and this is a project that we just need to wait on. So we, I think, have a lot of opportunities now to really kind of collectively talk about our decisions on how we're prioritizing. I had mentioned earlier that we this year started a CIP, which is Capital Improvement Project prioritization process, a visioning process. And funny you mentioned Parks and Recreation. That was one of the area we looked very closely. Parks and Recreation has, second to road, has the highest number of unfunded projects. We have to look at those projects based on our approach. And right now our approach is more on the regional level. We wanted to make sure the funds are being spent on accomplishing those regional projects that we have spent so much energy on, all these regional parks, our fire stations. So some of the projects, I'll give you some examples. We have projects like croquet, disc golf, and things like that. They're also important, but we have to prioritize them. Maybe now is not the time. And so those conversations we have ongoing with our directors, Ryan King as our Parks and Recreation directors, we talked about it, and I said to him and other directors, you know, we wanted to come together with the same priorities, all on the same page. And so if there are projects that you feel it's important, but it hasn't been made to the approval list yet, then let's have a strategy on how we can actually accomplish that at a time frame that you feel like it's going to work. And so we kind of trying to tackle these challenges together, and that works.
Yeah, no, and I love and Ryan and Jamie, I think they're doing a great job over there with Parks and Recreation. But I think one of the things that makes, you know, understanding the process, exactly what you just said, you know, I'll see a project and sometimes it'll still have my name on it from 18 years ago, and they've kind of carried it and kept it alive, kept that pulse and kind of still keeping it in that CIP project. So I don't think people realize it's supposed to be a 5-year, but there are projects that have been on these lists that just keep moving, and sometimes they move up on the list, which is nice, and sometimes they move down on the list. But it has to take that ranking, and you guys have to collectively do that, and that has to be one of those big challenges. All right, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is I don't think people understand the difference between St. Johns County Utilities compared to Parks and Recreation. Can you talk a little bit about like what the difference is between an enterprise fund, special revenue fund, and a general? I know that's deep into the weeds, but a lot of people are like, well, my water bill is so high, why can't you build parks with it? Well, you can't.
Right.
And I want people to understand why you can't, because the difference of that enterprise fund, that special revenue, and the general fund.
Well, so enterprise, you pretty much have already kind of explained this. Enterprise fund by law is it's a self-contained fund. So any revenue comes into the enterprise fund has to be spent by law to improve that specific enterprise. So in this case, it's utility funds, your water bills, your water connection bills. The funds coming to those funds can only be spent on improving utility system. And so you can't use that funds for anything else but utility. Special revenue, we have a solid waste, which is assessment, and it's not quite enterprise. It is lower level restrictive funds, but also has the same concept that any special revenue funds coming from the assessment can only be used for solid waste related activities. Parks and Recreation is general fund, so it's the most unrestricted funds of St. Johns County, and that you can use that for all competing needs, even for utility. But certainly we don't do that.
Yeah, because we have a healthy utility department. They've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Anything we've left off, because we're kind of coming to the end, and I want to let you go do your grown-up job. It's very, very important. Anything we left off that you want to get out to the public, and you are always welcome to come in here.
I really, really appreciate this opportunity and the many, many opportunities that you have given me and in the future to give us the very important interface for our staff and our residents, your listeners, to have this kind of communication. I look forward to other opportunities as well.
Yeah, and it is Sing Out Loud Week.
Yep.
So we're building. Actually, it's already started. Sing Out Loud's already started, but the showcase is this weekend.
Yep.
That takes a lot of resources from county, city, the nonprofit that works with you. So it's always an exciting week to come in. So I appreciate you coming in.
It is exciting. Actually, the showcase started the last week, 2 weekends ago, and I'm excited for all of our drinking, food establishment to be able to host those amazing local talents. It is what we're about.
Yeah, it's not just the big concert that's happening on the 20th and 21st. So
actually, we do have a question from a viewer though. We have a question from Kenny. So he was asking. He was talking about Parks and Recreation and asking when St. Johns County going to get a is there any plans to possibly build a skating rink in St. Johns County?
Okay, you want me to handle that one? Because that one came up 30 years ago, and it came up 30 years ago, and it's the liability for a skate park. There's a protected liability, and that's why we can have skate parks that kind of limits what the insurance against you is. But for a skating rink, when we looked at it and we did a full-on skating rink, it didn't qualify for that same situation. Plus, it was a huge loss leader, and more kids were doing the skate park component than they were the skating rink component. And unfortunately, the business of that is upside down, and it's not a business that government felt it could be in. So hopefully I took it because I had that question 30 years ago, and none of those things have changed.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking that. I think we have a skate feature in one of those parks, but not necessarily a rink.
Yeah, I think there's a couple, like what we did at Veterans Park.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of those type components, and we have one at Treaty Park, and then the city has the one that they have at the Upchurch Park over near the lighthouse. Mm-hmm. So we do have some skate parks, but the only reason we are able to do that is because the state changed how the insurance looked at those skate parks, and that's how those came to be. So great question though, Kenny. Appreciate that question.
And I also have one more question for Administrator Andrews as well. Talk about real quick FCC Environmental Service. So because 2 months ago, the St. Johns County allowed FCC Environmental Service to keep being the trash pickup service for St. Johns County. Can you talk about that process, like how the county kept FCC Environmental Service despite what happened last year, and to talk about what the service is doing now to be in this article 99% efficient for county residents.
Sure. Yeah, and that's exactly the percentage that we was holding them accountable for. I think we definitely went through a pretty rough patch of a transition from Republic to FCC. Since then, we had to follow follow the laws and our contractual obligation to go through a remediation process before any decision of termination of that contract. So that's exactly what we did. We went through a number of voluntary and involuntary mediation with FCC and their council people, and we gave them our liquidated damage, and they were at the end able to satisfy the liquidated damage, which means they had to forego a period of time of collection of payment from St. Johns County because of the below level service level standard performance. And so the number that we came together was satisfactory. It was compensating for the damage that St. Johns County residents have experienced. And also the more important part is the performance percentage. So they're at, I think, well over 99.9 some percentage pickup, which is well within industry standard. It may even be higher. Another really important consideration is FCC. The rate they're charging is way below the second lowest bidder of St. Johns County when we went through the RFP process. So our residents would have had to pay probably double or triple the assessment.
They would have had to cover that gap.
If we had to go with another providers. And so now if we do another RFP, it's even gonna be higher just to seeing what Jacksonville is experiencing, what Clay County is experiencing, and level of services that they're receiving. So with all the considerations of the investment of our residents and then the level of services that we are receiving, I think we have struck a balance. So that's why FCC is still with us, and they're a great partner. They have been great in our debris removal during any after hurricane. So we appreciate their partnership, and we also recognize the damage they have made. They did too. So I think we're on the
I haven't heard a
footing.
complaint since that first, that transition period, and it was rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was rough, and people were like, "Oh, you got to do this story." And you guys we'd already done it once, and
it was a learning opportunity for us.
It was definitely a challenge.
Yep.
So, well, thank you. That was a great question there, Blake. Blake, how do you want to check the comments, sir?
All right. On this Monday, I will masterfully maneuver my way through the multiple minions comments.
All right. While Blake is maneuvering, I want to tell you about BNS Signs. Want your business to get noticed and stay that way? Turn to BNS Signs, proudly family-owned and serving St. Augustine for over 50 years. From bold vinyl lettering to towering pylon signs, they specialize in high-quality custom signage built to last. Their expert team handles everything from design, installation, crane service, repairs, and maintenance with fast and responsive service that keeps your sign looking sharp. Make a lasting impression with BNS Signs. Visit bnssigns.com because when it comes to signs, they do it all. All right, we got to talk about the Good Troy, and the Good Troy is at the St. Augustine Handy House. Need a custom or prefab portable building that's built to last? Come to St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Usina Enterprise and serving the community since 1988. With over 70 structures in stock, from sheds and barns to carports and offices, you'll find the perfect fit for your needs. Every building includes a free delivery, leveling, and anchoring, plus easy financing options. Visit them today out on State Road 16, Monday through Saturday. Give them a call, 904-823-9092. That's St. Augustine Handy House, where quality meets convenience and community matters. Blake, what do we got?
All right, so unfortunately, no one posted any gas prices in the comments today, so I had to look these three up on my own. So
well, Tim, I'm sure is working on his bourbon event on Friday night. So if you guys, there are still tickets available for Jimmy Jam's bourbon event. So I'm sure we're giving Tim a get out of jail free card.
Okay, so my apologies for that. But here are the gas prices that I did find. Buc-ee's is at $2.75. Costco is also at $2.75. Wawa is on US 1 is at $2.73. Joy Marie won the first comment today. For question of the day today, some of the sponsors was getting kids ready for daycare or school, getting caught by the train, getting gas, and waking up with a bad back.
Oh,
and
somebody's close to my age.
Yeah, no, but also Kenny says that we need more businesses, not homes and condos. Then Diane follows up with that and says we need more Fortune 500 companies in St. Johns County.
Yeah, that's what we're working on for sure. All right. Appreciate that. Blakes, do you have... Oh, I got to do the Stordom stat. I haven't done that yet.
That's yours.
All right, that's me. Stordom stat today in 1971 is when Greenpeace, we've heard of Greenpeace. It was a boat that went out to try and stop some nuclear testing. They were not successful, but this is the day that Greenpeace left Vancouver and started its first Greenpeace initiative. And they're still around today. So happy birthday to Greenpeace out there. And that Stordom stat is brought to us by St. Augie's Pizza. You can't get a slice today, but you will tomorrow. Downtown, right on the corner of Riberia and MLK. Get yourself a slice tomorrow. Go see Augie and the girls over there. They do an amazing job. County Administrator, do you have any plugs that we need to plug for anything? Any shout outs that we want to give a shout out to?
Well, Blake is doing an amazing job today. Thank you. And I love the lighting.
Yeah. Well, they try and make it where it hides all my wrinkles.
Oh,
And it's failing.
you don't need that. You need the hat. The hat just stays on.
Yeah.
The hat
If
needs to stay on.
I take off the hat, it creates such a glare with
Reflection.
these lights. It's not
It's
pretty.
blinding.
It's not pretty at all. Blake, do you have any plugs?
No official plugs for me today, so but possibly tomorrow, and actually possibly we might have Aiden's Star coming in as well to help.
Yeah, because you're out next week.
I'm out next week.
You're going to see the Steelers in Ireland. They didn't look great yesterday, Blake. I'm not gonna lie. All right, and my plugs. I think some people I talked about doing gator hunting. I did go gator hunting yesterday. We were not successful yesterday, but we got on a couple of them. They got away from us. Gators are sneaky, and we did get our RV back. So Blake and I was able to take care of that on Friday.
In one day.
In one day, and I was feeling it. So thank you for everybody who was out there asking about those things. All right. All right. And the other thing is don't forget, guys, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. The YouTube, if you didn't get a chance to catch Troy's 2 cents on Friday, you can catch it on YouTube there very easily. We do have Bollocks tonight. Lenny and I will have our 5 questions going on, and we appreciate every one of you minions. Bye-bye.